What's up?
What's up, Nerdferders? Welcome back. That was an abrupt.
I
Whoosh,
know
swap.
this thing's just giving me problems all day today. How are you?
Immediate cut.
It's
Not
as
too bad.
frustrated as I am about this story. Apparently, that's what the issue is.
Okay, so
There we
just
go.
for some context, Nerdferders, we were not planning on a show today.
No.
We felt topics were kind of light. There were some things that have popped up. There's a few small topics, but none of them are like shocking. Like a lot of them are kind of like standard news. So we're gonna push those until like Monday. But this shit with Netflix happened, and well, first of all, the timing couldn't be worse. Then again, there's not a good time for this shit ever.
No.
But all right, so Josh, you had to introduce this story to me, so I shouldn't be talking about it. You should definitely introduce this story here, because you left me in the dark on this one. Like, you brought this up. I looked around on Twitter. I didn't see anything on it because I think even Twitter was trying to hide that it was trending.
Yeah.
And
it was. Yeah.
And so you told me that it would just be a better show if you left me in the dark on it. So I've only gotten a little bit of details now, and it's fucked.
Well, let me give you some more details. So Netflix, as we all know, is just they just have content dropping like every day, every week. It's ridiculous. One of the ways they do that is by getting films from other countries, right? So it's not all English films, but they scoop up films like a ways out. So this film is called Cuties. It's called Cuties. And it's actually a French film. The real name of it, and I'm gonna mess it up royally, is it's Mignon. It's a French film, and it debuted at Sundance back in January, and I
love how you just like you tried the name, totally flopped it, and then it was just it's French.
It's French. That's how it is. That's how it is. And it came out in Sundance last year, and it was, for the most part, very highly regarded. This is the French film. It won the director award, and it was it's a very controversial film, but it was a very important film, is what the majority of the reviewers claimed in their reviews. It was met with pretty high praise back then. And even back then, Netflix had secured it. So in all of the press releases and everything for Sundance, they were like, this has been picked up by Netflix. It's going to release sometime in 2020. So today, they announced the release, and it's going to come out in September. Now, I want you to look at this picture. You know, you got some girls. They're clearly young girls. They're having fun, stuff like that. This is the poster that Netflix went with. Oh, no, sorry. There's a picture of the girls close up. They're young. They're impressionable. Nothing too crazy here. I can't hear you. What happened? Did you mute yourself?
I did mute myself because
now you're good.
The lawnmower is going crazy outside my place right now.
Yeah.
So if they had used this poster, I imagine that we wouldn't be talking about this today.
Probably not. I mean,
or even the fucking poster that it looks like the French press used.
Right. Do you remember any controversy about this film back in January? No, because there wasn't. No. But this is
I didn't hear about this film until now.
Yeah. So this is the poster that Netflix put out. And Cuties is the English translation, but this is the poster that Netflix put out.
I have so many questions. Real quick though, does a scene like this appear in the movie at all?
Yes, this is their. I mean, granted, I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen clips of the movie, and I've done a lot of research on it. But
there is a scene where they're doing shit like this in the movie. Okay, that's gross.
And this is their dancing thing. And if you've ever seen any of the dancing mom shows or stuff like that, you'll know that there are girl dance groups, even as young as this, that are wearing these outfits, which is
those shows are so fucking gross. I can't stand that shit.
So this thing dropped on Twitter or it dropped on the internet today, and Twitter just lit up, and rightfully so, calling it pedoflix and cancel Netflix. That was
Well,
the
yeah.
uh, rightfully so. I mean, I don't know who would look at this and not think that.
So
And it
so I'm gonna go out on a limb here that this particular scene in the movie where they're all being over sexualized and stuff is kind of like maybe it's like a low point in the film, or it's like a part where like they're realizing that somebody realizes that something's going wrong and they decide to do something completely different, or like this is like a turning point for it.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
This is the other part. So this is on the left here is how the film was initially described. People weren't just mad about the picture; they were also mad about the short synopsis. So the synopsis, if you can't read it, says Amy, who's 11, becomes fascinated with a twerking dance crew. Hoping to join them, she starts to explore her femininity, defying her family's traditions. On top of that, this movie on Netflix is rated TVMA, and it originally had an NC-17 rating. So people see this picture and this description and an NC-17 rating, and of course, they go directly to, what the fuck, Netflix? What is with this pedo porn shit? Because there, I mean, what else could you think at that? I mean, and this is their new picture here. So it's slightly different. Still seems to be a little more glamour, a little more, sexy, a little more edgy than the initial
Well,
French poster.
the
But
one
it's
on the
kind
right,
of
the
better.
one on the right though is like I would expect to see that in an ad for one of those shitty TLC shows. Where you look at it and you're like, why are you doing that? But it's not like over sexualized or anything like that. Then again, we can't see the rest of the photo. But this one here in the blue, people can't see my cursor. This one where they're in the blue and all that shit, that's just fucking gross. Like, why would you want that as the selling point for a movie about 11-year-olds?
Yeah, can I also point something out here? I just realized this when I was looking at this, and I'm gonna try to just pick up the picture here and then copy it over. But when I look at the font for this for Cuties, let's see here. Can I just drag this over right quick?
Do you want to? It sounds
Maybe I don't want to.
This might be a risky click.
It's not a risky click, but it's like the same font. It's not the same font, but it's got the same kind of look as the Magic Mike posters. Like the Magic Mike posters has like a blue kind of shimmery thing here. And that's all I can think about. Like that's all when I'm looking at that, it's just it's like a Showgirls Magic Mike type font. And I'm like, why did you go that? Do you see this here? It's kind of similar.
The font is very
the font's different. The font's different, but I mean like the blue and the lights and the glitz and the glamour.
Sure, they tried to make it like all sparkly and shit like that. I'll let the font slide. That isn't that big a deal, but
well, I mean, it's just again, it's trying to make it, they're trying to, glamour it up. They're trying to sex it up a bit. They changed the description by this afternoon that now says Amy starts to rebel against her conservative family's traditions when she becomes fascinated with the free-spirited dance crew. So they're no longer calling it a twerking dance crew, and they're no longer using this image on the left. But that doesn't change much. This was their official response as of 12:30 today. We're deeply sorry for the inappropriate artwork that we used. It was not okay, nor was representative of this French film, which won an award at Sundance. We've now updated the pictures and description, but it's a little too late for that because now everybody that saw the initial movie, they just think it's pedo porn, or it's something totally different. And we lost Seth. What happened to Seth? I don't know what happened. 1 second. Did he message me? Re-add me. Well, you're not there. I can't add you. Let me send you a new link. 1 second, folks. We're having some on-screen difficulties. I don't know what happened. Here we go. Here he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got
I was like, I'm trying to re-add you, but you're not here.
I could still hear you. Like I
Okay.
could still hear you, but like I was talking to you and like I don't know if the cam was still up or not, but like I could
No,
still
your
see
cam
and hear
went
you,
out.
but
So
okay. All right.
yeah.
So I just straight up lost everything. No, yeah, this it was not okay nor representative of this French film with one which won an award at Sundance. Like
But it's a little late. I mean, now everybody just
that's
associates this and just assumes that it's some sick French film that's over sexualizing girls. Um, and I mean, now they're just saying, they want to cancel it. They want to take it down. Even though, I mean, even though that wasn't the point of the film to begin with.
so we had this we had kind of this same point made, or I made the same point back when we were talking about the blackface controversy
Mm-hmm.
episode that we had,
Mm-hmm.
where when a production company is putting something together, it goes through a lot, like it changes hands a lot. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that end up going through it. Um, and something like this would be so that was why it was so weird to me that people were like, hey, this blackface thing is going to be okay, because it had to go through so many people.
Sure.
It's like it goes through like writing, goes through like a table read, goes through a bunch of different stuff before like any of that, even a dress rehearsal. And it's like, okay, at no point was somebody like, hey, maybe we shouldn't put you in blackface. This is kind of the same thing where somebody at Netflix or somebody in their design team or whoever decided to put this photo out there. They use it as a concept. They probably had several different drafts that they had to send up before it was approved.
Mm-hmm.
So the person who made it didn't think it was a big deal. The person who approved it didn't think it was that big a deal. The person who submitted it to like for like however many different submissions and how many different eyes ended up seeing it beforehand, nobody was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be sexualizing 11-year-olds. And I
Yeah.
think that is the real, that is the bigger problem. Not that this is in the movie, because I'm pretty sure that in the film there's probably a point to the scene.
Well,
And
let me tell you about that, because that is literally the point of the movie. And Netflix just let it fly over their heads, and when they put this out, this is a interview with the director. It's her debut feature, and she won the World Cinema Dramatic Directing Award this January at Sundance for this film. And this is an interview that they did back in January with Screen Daily, and she explains what inspired her to write this story. She said she was visiting an amateur talent show, and quote, there were these girls on stage dressed in really sexy fashion, in short, transparent clothes. They danced in very sexually suggestive manner. I asked myself if these young girls understood what they were doing. And then so it led her to research the topic even further for over a year. And she said, I came to understand that an existence on social networks was extremely important for these youngsters, and that often they were trying to imitate the images they saw around them in adverts or on the social networks. The most important thing for them was to achieve as many likes as possible. This is most of all an uncompromising portrait of an 11-year-old girl plunged into a world that imposes a series of dictates on her. Today, the sexier and more objectified a woman is, the more value she has in the eyes of social media. And when you're 11, you don't really understand all of those mechanisms, but you tend to mimic, to do the same things as others in order to get a similar result. I think it is very urgent that we talk about this, that a debate be had on this subject. So that was her purpose in making this film, to talk about the over sexualization of young girls. And what did Netflix do? They take a perfectly good poster where they could have just put an English title on it, and they took one of the most sexually suggestive images from the film and made it their poster, which is the whole point of the movie, is to not do this.
so that so I feel for that on like two different levels, because one, it's like, all right, now the press for this movie here in America and everywhere is fucked.
Yeah.
People, like a huge amount of people, aren't going to take this seriously anymore.
No,
And
they're calling for Netflix to be canceled. They're calling for this film to be taken down without
and it's
even knowing what it's about.
and it's going to be another knock against fucking foreign films in America,
Yes.
which also sucks because they're going to like French already has a reputation in America of being kind of like that shit. And it's like, no,
Oh
that's
yeah,
not
I've seen
okay.
a bunch of posts today that says "F in France." What's with
Yeah,
these sick
there's
people
going
in
to be a lot
France?
of
And it has nothing to do with France. It has everything to do with Netflix.
But I
It's
also
crazy.
feel for the filmmaker in this respect because like the filmmaker probably had a very specific hope for what that poster would end up being. That poster, the original one where they're like running down the road and they got like bags or something, like I think they're probably like coming back from a dance practice where they had like a great time or something like that. I don't know. Like that poster makes the film look like it's like a nice coming of age film. Like it brings you in with like kind of a happy undertone. And then that scene in the film, or the main conflict in the film, the main theme that she's actually going for, is meant to take away that comfort and show you what life for a young girl is actually going to be. But now that's fucking gone. Now for people who haven't seen the movie already, that's gone. Or at least people who won't give it a shot and understand that that is not the fucking intent for the actual film.
Right. Now some people are saying, well, if it's a coming of age story about an 11-year-old girl, why is it rated TVMA? You know, if that's really the purpose, then why is it, R, NC-17 or TVMA? And to
Europe
that,
doesn't have a problem with bad language, like at all.
It's not just that. I mean, the
It's going to
Florida
be a
Project.
language.
Right. There's a movie called The Florida Project that follows a 6-year-old girl in Florida, and it has William Dafoe in it. Came out a couple years ago from A24. It's a coming of age film about a young 6-year-old girl that's rated R, and people thought it was amazing. So it doesn't have to be a family film, because it's about a young person. But people see what Netflix did, and now there's a petition out there with already thousands of signatures on there. And an improve.org article says that this motion picture, Cuties, exhibits youngsters dressed provocatively, dancing sexually. It's designed for the amusement of grown-ups who are pedophiles. Be sure to sign the petition to protect our little ones from the exploitation in motion pictures. So they rightfully so, they're just assuming that this is made for old, gross, creepy dudes who want to see girls, dressed and sexualized, which is it's not the point of the film. It's the opposite of the film.
Like that pisses me off so much. Like as an artist, like that would really make me mad, because basically the full intention of like the interpretation that I want my art to actually give is now would then completely be destroyed. And especially considering it's the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Like that I mean, it's great that Netflix apologized and changed the poster right around, but too little, too
late. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's fucking yeah. And honestly,
really
it like the fact that they thought that it was okay is probably just perpetuated by the exact same themes that the film is trying to shine a light on. Like the fucking toddlers and tiaras. Is that what it's called?
I think so. I mean, yeah, it sounds right. There's
it's tiaras and
moms
something
and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a bunch of those shows.
Those shows are not only are they fucking garbage, and they're showcasing some like real human garbage, but they're also like produced to like bring out the garbage in those people.
Oh,
and they also push for more controversy in those shows, because that's what get like the press that they get.
That's why people watch
more viewership into the show. Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
so like it's not just social media and the general public sexualizing that stuff. It's them demanding more of that content, whether it's just for the outrage content or the outrage culture, or if it's simply just because that outrage will stir up enough people to where eventually they're going to get a crowd base that actually does enjoy it, and not for the outrage because of the content itself. And considering the fucking the rampant level of pedophilia in Hollywood that seems to be coming out of the woodwork all the fucking time now, like I could not think of a worse film to have associated with the film industry in any way, shape, or form than a film about young girls dancing provocatively.
Yeah.
Like even this poster here, even the poster that they have here, I can definitely see pedophiles looking to this film specifically because they've got bras they're wearing on the outside of their clothes. Like, and then the rating that goes in on top of that, like that makes me worry about what message that might be sending too. Because unfortunately, when it comes to a predator, they don't care about the intent of the project. Like if they can get off on it, they're going to. It's fucking disgusting.
Right.
But
and to be fair, Netflix can't stop that.
No,
they're not.
No, they can't. That's
stop, but they can certainly not cater to it. Like
which is what it feels like that was doing. Like it almost feels like somebody who would sympathize with that.
Yes,
somehow.
There's a very specific way that they could have marketed this film.
Why not use the same fucking poster that
I know it's a great poster
originally intended?
It's a great poster. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of really good articles about this movie out from earlier this year, from when Sundance came. The Hollywood Reporter talked really well about it. Variety talked really well about it. I mean, if this movie was over sexualized, or if there was something that like maybe that's the message they were trying to do, but they fucked it up royally, we would have heard about it. They would have set this on fire, but they didn't. And this could have been a big moment for Netflix to have a really big award-winning foreign film come out. Very important film, a very, what people have been saying, an important film for girls, an important film for young Black girls, and an important film for female Black directors. It could have been a huge win for Netflix, but instead, I don't know, someone in their PR department or several people in their PR department need to be fired, because it's just like, it's not even like, oh, if you look at that poster in a certain light, it's just wrong on so many levels. And then when you find out what the movie is, then it's like triple wrong on so many levels.
Unfortunately, because it's a foreign film, I don't feel like it would have gotten quite the reception that it would have deserved had they used a proper poster. But because America doesn't seem to have like an appreciation for foreign films quite as much as maybe they would like to say, at least the general public.
Well, they're going to have less of an appreciation for them now, aren't they?
That's why it's really upsetting, because now it's going to hurt even more, because like the first foreign film, like what's the last foreign film that comes to mind that actually made some headlines?
Parasite.
Just recently. Exactly. So we have an Oscar winner, and then the only other film that has been recently talked about that's a foreign film is going to be surrounded with this controversy.
Exactly.
That pisses me off. And
but it also
just the other day, it absolutely hurts her.
Not to say that America is like the promised land for foreign directors, but Parasite's director is getting a lot more attention, and he's getting a lot of American offers as well. He's working with HBO on a TV version of Parasite. This could have opened up a lot more doors for this debut director, and now half of America thinks she's a creep.
I don't know that it'll actually close a lot of doors, because people in the industry are going to understand what the original intention was, because they've probably seen the film already. Like influential names have probably seen it because it made it to Sundance. Like they're going to understand the caliber of movie that ends up winning stuff like that. So career-wise, I'm hoping that it doesn't, like publicly, there might be some people who somehow remember her name, even though like her name is like, I can see it on the poster here. I couldn't pronounce that. So that might play to her favor, actually. Who knows?
It might, but public opinion is damning, and it takes a lot of good PR to overcome bad PR, and that's what this is suffering from, is really, really bad PR. And I wonder if there's even like legal precedent, because I mean, Netflix is like the gateway into foreign films for a lot of American viewers. And
Well,
I mean, like,
specifically for this, yeah,
could you
absolutely.
imagine if this was your film and you were like, my film is debuting in America on September 9th. We've been waiting since January for this, and this is how it's premiered, you know?
See, yeah,
I'd be livid.
I have to wonder if there was if there was the original French PR team
Mm-hmm.
or the original team who was involved in it over in the EU,
Mm-hmm.
or if it was a specifically like I would imagine that they would have outsourced,
Oh, for
like,
sure.
because I can't imagine that the original team who were originally affiliated with creating this film would have let that poster go out there.
I mean, it's stark differences. This isn't an alternate poster that they used for Sundance. It was one poster here and then the American version. And man, I mean, it's not even close. It's not you know, it's crazy different and shamefully different, you know. It's
Can you
just
take it off of the screen?
yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
I'm sorry.
fucking want it on there.
Take it off. And even this poster, like, I get it, it's a thumbnail, but you could have done better, you
They
know.
could have done if they had done that though, we wouldn't be talking about this.
We
Like
wouldn't.
if they had put
Absolutely we
that up
wouldn't.
there, there wouldn't have
Right.
been any controversy whatsoever. They'd be like, okay, what's
I
going
mean,
on?
I'm
If
sure
they had
someone
used
would be like, why is there an NC-17 film about an 11-year-old? But I think most people would have been like, this is interesting. I'm going to check it out, and not what's with this twerking movie about young girls. I mean,
so when I see TVMA on something, I automatically expect people are just gonna say fuck a lot.
sure,
That's
sure,
that's kind of what my association is with it.
yeah,
Obviously, yeah, you would expect that there might be some nudity in there too, but I would hope that when you see a young girl on the photo of that, then see TVMA, you don't automatically think, oh shit, I'm gonna see naked children. I would
yeah,
hope that that is not people's first instinct. I really hope that's not the case. Definitely, there are going to be people whose first instinct is that, and their second instinct is excitement. But, and that's where I feel like the real problem comes into play here, is because that was absolutely a hope for fucking creeps. Uh,
oh, for sure,
and and that damage is done. They're
hmm
not gonna be able to get around that. But fucking shit, Netflix. Like,
yeah.
vet your people.
I mean, you
Like,
want to be taken seriously. Netflix has, for years, has tried so hard to be taken seriously as a movie studio, as a distribution studio. They are not just a streaming platform. They put out big movies that are recognized in awards and every. They are, to America, they are the distributor of foreign content. And they bring a lot of big foreign content, but they also bring foreign content like 365 days, which we talked about on this podcast. I talked about it with Mark. You were out that week, but it was it was an Italian version of what is it? Gray, darker shades of gray or whatever. It was a very sexually explicit foreign film. And a lot of people were like, geez, Netflix. I mean, what's the deal with bringing over this, almost X-rated Italian film to Netflix? So that was the last big foreign film talk that people had about Netflix. Now you have this next one. And, granted, there's been tons of them that come out, but now you have this. And of course, people see the way that you marketed it and read it as such. And I mean, how you can destroy the a film with one sentence and one image for millions of people, the perception of that film, it's crazy. But they should have known better.
the fact that that was like the quote is even weirder, that they decided to describe that an 11-year-old girl joins a twerking dance crew. Like,
Yes.
who the fuck do you think is going to get into that now?
And of
Like,
course, you show
like,
them in those lewd
fuck.
positions on the poster, and just, I mean, come on, man. It's like you don't even
They dropped the ball super fucking
drop the
hard.
ball. Drop the ball. And then it's just like, so what do? Do you try to police people? Do you try to go on every single post and try to correct them? No, you can't do that. There's just, my Facebook has been blown up. I'm a part of a lot of movie groups and everything, and I've just seen post after post after post, and it's just like, you could be that, you could try to be that person that goes and comments on every single one, and it's just, I mean, it'd be pointless. It's out there. You could talk sense to so many people, but it's just pointless. And a lot of people are just saying, I'm going to drop my Netflix account. If this is real, I'm going to drop the account. And I mean, it's not good. It's not good. They're not going to lose a lot of people over this, but it's not a good look for Netflix at all. And
No.
a one tweet apology, I don't think is enough. I think they should make a bigger deal out of that.
Well, first of all, I think they should absolutely fire the people who are responsible for putting the poster together and approving it. Just be like, hey, do you guys have suspect motives? Like, did you get off on making that poster? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, get them out. Like, because I can't think of somebody with a normal mindset putting a poster like that together and thinking it's gonna be okay. Like,
yeah, no,
like I can't picture that. So
it's just lazy, man. It's just so lazy.
Well, they want somebody to be held responsible for it, and Netflix is putting out.
And that it's more than one person. You just like you said, it went through a series of things, and that's what's disturbing. Is a series of people checked off on it, and even if all of those people had not seen the film, a simple read of the Sundance film description, or of a recent review, or of an interview with the producer, or with the, there's tons of them out there. I read tons of them today about, the producer and why he really connected with this director, and how, she's done some short films that are also similar themed on this. That's based on her life growing up as a girl. And it's just, I mean, it's great stuff. It seems like this director is putting her heart into this work. And then some asshole at Netflix turns around and just makes it this. It's just disheartening. It's really sad. I feel for this director, because I'm sure she's pissed. I'm sure she's heartbroken. I can only imagine what she's going through right now.
Yeah. The gut shot of seeing that your film is trending and being like, oh shit, my film's trending. Mm-hmm. And then finding out that it's because of this shit.
It's straight up betrayal. I mean, it's just, it's betrayal. It's a studio shooting itself in the foot, but then it's just like, well, you did this to yourself. Okay. But then the people that made it before it was picked up by Netflix, you're inflicting pain on them. And it's just sad. It's too bad.
Well, we were just going to do a short show here, Nerf Herders. I was gonna go get food after this, but I don't know if you can have an appetite for anything now.
Well, I mean, I wish we could have had a short film talking about Ben Affleck coming back as Batman or something celebratory. But this was the big story of the day. So we'll have to talk about that after Fandom or something.
Yeah, we had a thing about Olivia Wilde directing another Marvel film for Sony and thinking it was Spider-Woman. Or like Spider-Gwen. Like, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of shit we could have talked about there. But Netflix decided to drop this shit.
Good job, Netflix. Thanks for ruining it for everybody.
Appreciate it.
Saturday can't come quick enough. I can't wait for Fandom. They dropped a teaser for Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, and the teaser, oh my gosh, it gave me goosebumps. I can't wait.
I will say this though. Again, to kind of like support the film in like a good way, go and watch Cuties with the mindset that it is not about something sexualized.
I would say that's the best thing we could do right now, is to support.
Try and support the film
this director.
Post reviews, like post on social media. Like, this film is not about sexualized twerking 11-year-olds. This film is actually about how that's a problem that they have to grow up with now and shit. Have an original positive impact on it, or have a positive impact with the original intention of the film. And I don't know, maybe we should probably watch it and review it on a future episode.
We should. As Forbes wrote, because they said the film follows an
Yeah.
11-year-old girl from a traditional Muslim family who joins a group of dancers at her school and becomes obsessed with looks and posting images and social media. At the end of the article, they just had the strongest sentence. They ended their article with, this is a film created so that this issue may be talked about. And so I feel like, yeah, I agree. The only way to redeem this situation is for people to watch this film on September 9th. In fact, I kind of wish Netflix would just drop it now, just so that people don't read misinformation for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because by September 9th, even some people might have heard the truth by then, but other people are going to be like, what? They really did drop that pedophile film? Like, they really did put it out? Wasn't this talked about 3 weeks ago? The best thing that people could do is watch this film. And if it really delivers on the message that all these critics and all these producers and the director said that was the point of it, then to get that word out there, to talk about that issue like she's hoping people will talk about it. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it for sure, and I hope it's as strong of a message as she says and she wanted it to be.
So I scrolled through and I found it. Like if if we had found it in the situation that it's in now, it would still, like the trailer. Like I'm watching it with no audio, but I don't speak French, so I don't know that it would have mattered anyway. But yeah, it has the description that was given that you're showing on screen right now. Like that's the description that it shows. The trailer for it though looks like there's some moments in there where it's looking like a little suspect, but there's also a bunch of moments where it's very much looking like a drama.
And that's how it's sold. It's sold as a drama, as a coming of age drama. And it's, the way that it's been sold in the past definitely put you on edge before you saw it, and that this was going to be a hard drama. And it was going to be about, these girls finding themselves in a world that they don't understand. And so I expect there to be some stuff in there that is suspect. But if I'm going into it with that light, then I'm expecting that and I'm listening to the message. If I'm going into it with some super sexualized poster, then I'm expecting it to be all, bells and whistles and fanfare and celebrating that, not criticizing it. Those are two different messages, two different perspectives.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but we'll see how things kind of unfold until, because this movie doesn't even come out on Netflix until the 9th.
Right. Still got a few weeks.
So yeah, so we'll see what kind of damage control we're gonna end up seeing here. But yeah, in the meantime, I would say, hey, let's like, if you can contest the bad links that are going around talking about how it's a pedophile fest and like talk about it as a drama, which is what it's supposed. Like the movie reminds me a lot of like the general concept reminds me a lot of the movie 13. I don't know if you saw that movie. It was long, like it's an old movie. It was like an early 2000s movie. It's like a young girl. She ends up getting a friend who's kind of a bad influence, and she gets into some trouble, and they're 13, and it kind of has like this. It kind of goes into like sort of the same conflicts that girls at that age end up coming into. And
interesting. I've never heard of that one. No.
But
I've heard other people compare this to Girlhood and a couple other films like The Fits or The Atlantics, which are similar films about not necessarily about the dance topic, but about girls and growing up and dealing with how they're perceived and whatnot. So none of those were heralded as pedophile films. So hopefully this can be corrected.
We'll have to see what kind of damage control Netflix can do here, and hopefully see some sort of consequence that comes out of it that's not just like a drop in the bucket for their financial department. But yeah, that'll go ahead and wrap this episode up, Nerferders. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment below on what you think of the situation. Do you feel like there's no right answer here to defend Netflix? Like there's really no correct answer here. No. Yeah, let us know what you think of the controversy down below. Let us know what you think. Are you going to watch the movie, or has this tarnished it for you? Let us know.
Will you give it a chance? You know, have you researched it at all? I'd love to hear some other people's topics. I think a lot of people that I've seen have kind of come around on it once they've dug into it. But yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, that's the point of headlines, right? To elicit a response, and those initial headlines and the images and the way that this was marketed certainly elicited a response. And I don't blame people for having that response. And so, yeah, I hope they can correct it and promote the message that this was supposed to promote. So yeah, thanks for joining us, folks. And sorry it was such a topic.
Yeah, a really gross one. Hit us up on social media. Be a part of the conversation. Let us know what you thought. Down below, you can find us at Nerf Herders Assemble on Facebook, here on YouTube, and more. You can find us at Nerf Herders Crew on Twitter. If you start talking to us on Twitter, we'll start using it. So until next time, we'll catch you guys later.
See ya.